Hi everyone, Christine here at Christine's Craft Table, coming to you with an update. I have finished my Grafgan called the Cat's Meow, so I want to share that with you, talk a little bit about the pattern and the yarn. I have another finished product I want to share. I have a work in progress. And then lastly, I just received today in the mail a wonderful box from Canada from my friend Cathy at Yarn with Heart. So I'd like to open that up with you. But before we get into all of that, I'd like to take a minute and welcome my new subscribers. We have Manfas Makes, Sam, Aminath Nazva, My Pink Bathtub, Nancy Woolley, My Crochet Story, Jolene Larson, Janice Sawyers, Melva B, Norma Kowaleski, Soxy Nana Alice, Cindy Fan, Joanne Michael, Kay's Beauty Breakdown, and Jean Grissom. Welcome all of you, and welcome to all those I can't see as well. So first off, the Cat's Meow. I will put some better pictures in here as well, but here you go. Start to finish. And there you go. I am very proud of this. I think she came out adorable. And I am very happy to have finished with this blanket. Now this is part of the Camp Boggy Creek Blanket Brigade collection for this year. So I will be mailing this off to Nancy at She's Got Yarn Too. And this was also in conjunction with Jan the Alaskan Crafter and Laura at Mad Mimi's Crochet and Farming. They sponsored this Cat's Meow make-along, and Laura actually gifted the pattern to us for free, to quite a few of us, so that we could make this pattern for the Camp Boggy Creek. So I was excited to participate in that, and I will be sending Jan a picture of my completed blanket. So I found this pattern very easy and fun to work with. The line-by-line instructions that come with it were really clear, and it also comes with a graph, which is not so clear, so I mainly used the graph just to eyeball where my color changes should be and how it should look in kind of an overall way. I did not try and follow the graph stitch by stitch because it was just too tiny. It's a very tiny graph. But the line-by-line instructions are great and clear, and they were just perfect. So yeah, so that's mainly what I used. The whole blanket is one stitch. It's the knotted half double crochet, and it's an easy stitch to learn. And you do have to concentrate when you work on it. It's easy to fall back into the half double crochet, or if you're not paying attention, or sometimes the knotted half double actually finishes in one stitch, and then you start your next stitch in the same stitch that you ended in. And sometimes if you're not paying attention, it's easy to skip over to the next stitch to start, and you get to the end of your row and your count is off because you skipped that space. So those were probably the two mistakes that I made. That it was a good thing I was counting my stitches every row, because I would find those mistakes very quickly and be able to correct them. Yeah, so it's easy to do that if you just crocheting along and not paying attention. But other than that, I mean, it's the same stitch over and over. Keeps it interesting because you're constantly changing colors, so you don't get bored at all, even though it is the same stitch. Now, I did scrap busting with this blanket. I shopped my stash for all of the yarn because, well, I wanted that to be part of this blanket, for me at least. And I had a whole bin full of pink acrylic yarn, so I knew I had enough yarn. So I just went in there and gathered all the 4-weight yarn that I had and came up with this colorway. And I'm happy because it's actually, you know, a one-of-a-kind deal, because nobody else is going to put together this colorway for sure. So yeah, there's a lot of counting to be done in the pattern. That's one of the downsides, but you'll catch your mistakes that way. So I would not just work along thinking you're fine, because it's a drag when you have to frog more than one row of this. This is 110 stitches across as written. I didn't trim off any rows or columns or stitches. It did take a while to figure out the gauge for this, because again, it was going to Camp Boggy Creek and there are very specific measurements for those blankets, and this pattern works out to just the right measurements, but if you're not paying attention, you could easily go over. So you really do have to do the gauge and make sure you're going to come out with the right size blanket. So that took a while. I went through 2 gauge swatches, and her pattern actually recommends a 3.25 millimeter hook with a 4-weight yarn. I used a 4 millimeter hook to get the right gauge, and then a 5 millimeter hook for the foundation row. This blanket also starts with a foundation half double crochet row, and if you're not familiar with doing the foundation row, then you might need to practice that a little bit or watch a tutorial. I actually pulled up a different tutorial to get that foundation row done, just because I needed to see it a little bit more clearly demonstrated. So once you get that foundation row done, then again, it's same thing every row. Another thing that is unique to this blanket, because it is a Grafgan, is you are carrying along a number of threads. You will be carrying anywhere from 4 to 8 different yarn spools or balls, or however you're going to carry your yarn, and keeping them from getting tangled is a little bit of a challenge. So yeah, I pretty much had to untangle my yarns at the end of each row before I started my next row. So that adds to the time that it takes to complete the blanket. Obviously, makes it a little bit more slow going than a typical blanket. So also for that reason, I took a few breaks. I set it down for a couple days and then came back fresh and got back into it, because you can get tired of doing the same thing over and over and untangling those yarns. But overall, I think it's a really cute pattern, and if you have a little cat lover in your life that you want to make something special for, I highly recommend this pattern. I really do. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it a 9, simply because the graphs could have been a little bit bigger, and it is a challenge dealing with all those strands of yarn hanging off of your project the whole way. Now, about the yarn, I did scrap busting, like I said, and the yarns that I used, starting from the top, are Lion Brand Pound of Love in Antique White. This is Paintbox Simply Erin in Raspberry Pink. This is Premier Everyday Worsted Anti-Pilling in pink. This is Bernat Super Value Solids in Peony Pink. It looks almost neon there, but it's not. It's just a nice bright peony color. And this is Schitt's Creek in Myra S. Rose. And then Paint Box again in Candy Floss Pink. And then some more of the Bernat Peony. This is Paint Box in Blush Pink. And then lastly, again, Premier, back to the Premier Everyday Worsted Anti-Pilling. So I broke up that one because I had a lot of it and I didn't want one big stripe of the Premier. And those are all the colors I used. They are all 4-weight, all 100% acrylic, and I used a total of 1,982 yards. Just a few thoughts on the individual yarns as I crochet more and get more experience with these yarns. I definitely have my opinions, which I'll share, and they're just my opinions, of course. The Pound of Love, the more I work with it, the less I like it, sadly. I love the color. This antique white is really pretty. I love the softness, but it seems like it's not going to wear very well. It gets fuzzy pretty quickly. I can already tell at the bottom of the blanket where I started. It just seems already kind of fuzzy. So I'm interested to see what it looks like. Well, I know what it looks like when it comes out of the washer because I've made cowls in this before. And again, I love how soft it is, but it doesn't have a long-term durability, in my opinion, even though it is so pretty and so soft. So I'm sad about that because I really stocked up on it for a while because I thought I was going to make myself a blanket in just this yarn, but gradually I'm using it for various different projects because I'm falling out of love with it. The Paint Box Simply Aran yarns are okay. That's this raspberry again, and this Candy Floss Pink, and this blush pink. They're okay to work with. They're not the softest. They're probably the least soft in this whole group of yarns. The Premier Everyday Worsted Anti-Pilling. I am really happy with this yarn. That's this pink. It has a nice stitch definition. It's nice and soft, and it does not have that worn look on it at all yet. It looks like it's going to hold up really well. So I'm really happy with that. Premier yarn, Everyday Worsted. The Bernat Super Value, this peony color, is, again, it's a beautiful color and it's nice and soft, but it's a little bit like the Lion Brand Pound of Love in that I'm wondering about the durability of that yarn. But, you know, again, it's a value yarn, so you get what you pay for, I guess. But it does seem to be getting fuzzy kind of quickly. The Lion Brand's Schitt's Creek is this beautiful color here, which has a beautiful stitch definition and looks really nice. It kind of has a sheen to it, but it's not the softest. It's a little bit stiff. Again, that's before washing, so maybe it'll soften up during the wash. We shall see. It almost seems like the softer the yarn, the less durable, at least in this bunch. But I think if you asked what my preference would be going forward, I think I would choose the Premier Everyday Worsted Anti-Pilling. Of this group of yarns, to me, it's looking the nicest and feeling the best as well. That is my cat's Meow. And again, I haven't shown you a real nice view of it, so I will insert some pictures. Okay, my next finished object is this cute little thing. And she's called Sweetie the Pig. This was a special request from my great niece, and she will be headed to her new home soon. She's waiting for a couple of other friends to be made. I used Hobby Lobby I Love This yarn in soft pink, and Loops and Threads. Is it Soft Classic, or their classic soft classic acrylic in pink rose for the little tips of her feet and her heart-shaped nose. But I just think she's adorable. She's about 7 inches tall and 5 inches wide. And her pattern is from Sweet Oddity Art, and it's called Sweetie the Pig. And it took 166 yards total with some polyfill filling. And she weighs just over 5 ounces. So she's nice and lightweight. And the pattern uses the snap-on eyes, but I like to sew my eyes on, so those are stitched on with a just one strand of white underneath the eyes. That was new to me, but kind of got it. Also new to me on this was you take one of your threads and you run it through both the eyes to kind of, and give it a tug to pull the eyes in a little bit to give her some contouring in her face. So I thought that was kind of cool. So that's Sweetie the Pig. And one of her friends that I have begun working on, but have not completed yet, is the work in progress I wanted to show you. And this is called Squish Cat. And he is a pattern by Moogly, and he's gonna be awfully big. But there's his face so far. I have to do the little mouth, and then I've got all the parts. I just need to stick them on. These are his cute little, what does she call them? Toe beans. So this piece will go underneath. There's actually a ball that fits inside as the filling, but I'm going to use polyfill to fill him. A lot of polyfill. He is huge. So that is Squish Cat. And I am using Bernat Softy Chunky yarn for this. There's his little tail. She used Bernat blanket yarn, but again, I'm trying to shop my stash, so I had a lot of this Softy Chunky yarn, and so that's what I'm using. And I also used a smaller hook. She used an 8mm, but I went all the way down to a 6mm, and that was to get the stitches tight enough so that you're not going to see the polyfill through the stitches. I noticed with the larger hooks, it was leaving too big a gap. These are half double crochets for the most part. And so I just kept going down on the hooks till I liked the way it looked. And that was the 6mm, which is a little bit of a challenge working a 6mm hook with super bulky yarn. It's a number 6 yarn, but I think it'll be worth it in the end result. So watch for the completion of Squish Cat coming to you soon. Oh, it's the faces. Hobby Lobby, I love this chunky yarn for the eyes and the accents, his little toes. Okay, last thing I want to share with you is a prize I received from Cathy at Yarn with Heart. She was celebrating her 400 subscribers milestone, and so she had a giveaway, and this lovely box arrived in today's mail all the way from Canada. But let's see what we have. Well, actually I know what it is because I saw the giveaway video, but in person. Oh, okay. We have a Mary Maxim piggyback snowman. Oh, the penguin is on the back of the snowman. It's a pattern for 2 dishcloth holders, and it comes with the dishcloths. That is very cool. I already know who I'm going to make this for. Oh, this is a darling little card. I wonder if she made this. It's a little knit sweater. You see the little knitting needles? Oh, that is so cute. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Matthew 6:21. www.joeofthewoods.ca. I guess she bought this card. That is too cute. I'm not going to want to use it. It's a blank card to use. That is just too sweet. Thank you. That's a surprise. I did not see that in the video. I'll put that away in a minute. Aw, some lovely butterfly stickers. Aren't those pretty? Cute. And then another dish towel. Oh, isn't that cute? With yarn. Heritage Cotton by Hirschner's. 164 yards, 75% cotton, 25% polyester. To match the dishcloth. Beautiful. I really like making these dishcloths. Thank you so much. Okay. And a skein of ice cream roving divigation. This is really nice yarn. I have used this before. It is a 4-weight, 437 yards, 200 grams, acrylic, 100% acrylic. It is super soft, beautiful color, purple and pink and white. Thank you. And lastly, some beautiful minis. In aqua, blue, gray, brown, and off-white. Aren't those pretty? Kanzu, inspired by the James Webb telescope picture of the moon. Crazy About You Dye Works. Sarah Jones. So I assume it's hand-dyed yarn. Oh, that's nice and soft too. Oh, what am I gonna make with that? How cute. Thank you, Cathy, so much. What a beautiful prize. I will stop crinkling. That's just wonderful. And I will enjoy using all of that. Okay, sorry, Cathy. I just noticed the cards stuck to the side of the box. I win no prizes for my powers of observation. Let me read my lovely card. Oh, that's beautiful. It says thank you. See those sparklies? Dear Christine, thank you so much for all your support. It is great to have met you by way of your YouTube channel, our YouTube channels. I enjoy reading your comments to me and look forward to us growing even closer in the coming years. That is my hope. Me too. All the best, my friend Cathy W. And she sent me some stickers. You are doing great. Thank you. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. Amen. I agree. Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible. That's great. God is within her. She will not fall. Oh, I love that one. And keep going. I shall. Thank you, Cathy, so much. This is beautiful. Love it. Thanks for joining me today, everybody. And if you like the video, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can catch my next videos. And check out the description box for any of the patterns I mentioned. I will include links in the description box. See you soon.